Let me ask you a question. Have you ever grabbed an anime image off the internet and it's super low quality, but then you try to reverse image search it and you just can't find a higher resolution image and you really like it, but the higher resolution version of this image either just isn't available online or the reverse image search just cannot seem to find it? Well, I've got a solution for you, and there's actually a couple of different solutions, and they all revolve around using paint.net. So if you search the word paint, the word dot, and the word net, you can download this free image editing program. And as you can see, when you load it up, you've got this blurry as all hell image. It's grainy, it's pixelated, it's garbage. This is 368p. So obviously this is garbage, but one thing you'll notice is that this is a 2D image. The colors are very simple, the shapes are simple, and all the information is there. It's just been compressed to all hell when it was reduced in resolution. So you can get the plugin that is called JPEG Noise Resolution. So all you have to do for this, resize the image to whatever resolution you want, search Google for JPEG Noise Resolution, and a lot of the times if you've got a compressed image, this is going to clean it up drastically while preserving most of the quality. This works great if there's just a little bit of compression, like you got an image off of Twitter and that .jpif just looking kind of garbage. But if it's a really, really compressed image or a really, really low resolution image, you can see the flaws here. Like you can tell that the lines are kind of lumpy. There's waviness where there shouldn't be waviness. Like if we zoom in on the arm here, it's still really pixelated and jaggy around like the arms. You know, it's still not super clean because it's smoothed out all of the JPEG artifacts, but it hasn't actually cleaned up the line art itself. And that's why this really only works at like lower levels of distortion. The next option is you might have heard of AI image upscaling. This one used Waifu2x, which again, another free program that you can get on your computer. Just search Google for Waifu2x, and this is going to use AI. And what it's going to try to do is basically it's going to magnify the image and it's going to denoise it, and it's going to use AI to try and figure out where the lines actually are and make sure the lines stay bold and clean when you're denoising the image. So if you take a look at this denoised image, you can see the edges are kind of fuzzy. It's maintained the bold black outline through AI. While it solves that problem, it doesn't really resolve the lumpiness. There's still lumpiness around the arms. It's tried its best to smooth this out. You know, if the base image was of a higher resolution, this wouldn't be too much of an issue, but it's still not perfect. There's still a lot of artifacting going on when you're trying to get a 360p image up to 1080p, you know? It's got very strict limits. But check this out. This isn't perfect either, but tell me, doesn't this look a heck of a lot better? Like there's still a little bit of jaggedness in the lines, but the lines themselves stay preserved and they maintain their geometry. The lines have maintained their boldness and they've maintained their shape. There's still a little bit of fuzziness, but I think this looks a heck of a lot better. I mean, compare this lumpiness and this fuzziness to this. Now you'll notice even though the line art arguably looks a lot better, the colors have changed. That's the new artifact we're dealing with. We're no longer dealing with lumpy lines or fuzzy outlines. We're dealing with weird colors. However, that is always something that you can correct later. You can always hop on over to, human saturation. Do you want this a slightly different hue? And, boom. Or maybe you don't think it's saturated enough. Boom, that's pretty easy to fix. See, a lot of the color distortion can be fixed. So how do we get from here to here when dealing with these lower resolutions? All right, so first things first, you've got your base image. We're going to resize this to 1080p. All right, and then we're going to duplicate the image. Now, native to paint.net, there is a feature called Noise Median, and this is not a plugin. You don't have to do anything to get this effect. And as you can see, with a radius of 10 and a percentile of 50, all of these lines have become super smooth but also super blurry. This is obviously inferior in just about every way. So what do we do? Well, it's not like you can simply change the opacity because, again, every time you're increasing the smoothness, you're losing detail. So you can't simply wiggle this and go, I guess I'll sacrifice some of the best of both worlds. No. You go over to multiply. Now I know what you're saying. All this has accomplished has made it darker. But no, take a closer look. a lot of that detail, a lot of that artifacting is gone. Not all of it, but a lot of it has been gotten rid of. So we're going to go ahead and fuse these. And now we're going to run that same JPEG noise thing. And now the same effect that we used before, now that we used multiply to get rid of a lot of that artifacting, the JPEG noise reduction has a lot less work to do. And we've gone ahead and we've lost a lot less detail. We've maintained a lot of that line quality. But you'll notice the image is way too dark. So we're going to duplicate the image again and go to auto level. And you'll see, wow, this has really brightened things up to like all of the correct levels. Now that we've hit auto level and it's all nice and bright, it's obviously way too bright, and we've got all this extra artifacting. So most of this we don't want. So let's drop down to 0% opacity, and we're just gonna bump that up ever so lightly until we get to a level where we've got the minimum amount of artifacting, but the maximum amount of brightness, so we can get to the colors that we want to get to. We can just bump up the saturation, change the hue, whatever, and just auto-correct those colors if we so choose. So now that we're at this point, we've brightened the image, we've gotten rid of almost all of the artifacting, we can go ahead and combine these. And now once these are combined, now we just color correct the image as we see fit. And boom, there you go. So just by going through a couple extra steps using that median noise and multiply, we've taken this to this. We still had to use the same tool. That same AI tool was doing the brunt of the work, but it looks a hell of a lot better, and it's preserving that line quality. It's not preserving the boldness of the lines quite as well as Waifu 2X. We're still losing a little bit of that boldness. But despite losing a little bit of line boldness, I think this is the best result so far. We're preserving the maximum amount of quality and producing the least amount of artifacts. So I would consider this a win. Let me know in the comments down below if you found this at all helpful. That's all I got for you today. Bye, guys.